There's a lot of technical and skills-based training, sales trainings, technology trainings, depends on the nature of the business you're in. That's all visible. That's really the nature of what's being done, in my mind, in the support of business effectiveness. So what are the right behaviors, what are the right skills, what are the right strategies, what are the right processes? That's the area that's being attended to. Underneath that is the raw mental horsepower of the individuals in the moment. So if you send 25 business people to a strategic thinking course, the degree to which their strategic thinking improves will depend on the mental horsepower of the individual. But underneath the skill of strategic thinking is the raw mental horsepower of the individual. Within leadership, underneath the leadership skills is the raw mental horsepower of the individual, the clarity, the resilience, the energy, the creativity, the ability to see to the heart of the matter rather than getting lost in the details, the ability to see problems neutrally so you don't get bogged down with insecurity and worry and guilt and all that kind of stuff. So in sports, that would kind of be the equivalent of fitness. And within businesses, there are certain problems that persist because they're not problems of techniques, skills, and strategies. They're problems of what we call mental fitness. The ability to think clearly under pressure, to have a lot of well-being in the face of challenging circumstances. That mental fitness is a huge factor in business. There's some recognition of that, but there's no direct way to address it. We're addressing it directly. So when we help with change in a company, we address people's insecurity and the fact that they're resistant to change because they get stuck in their old thinking. So we raise their mental fitness level, all of a sudden they're less resilient, they're more hopeful, they're more open to change, they're more open to new ideas, because the mental sensitivity that held that resistance in place is removed. So you're addressing that fitness level, and that's never been done directly, it's only been done indirectly. So business realized, oh, it is better if people feel better. So let's paint the walls a different color and have an ice cream social and give people more bonuses. Maybe give them the day off or tell them they do a good job. And the problem with that is if people aren't mentally fit or don't have well-being, that doesn't do anything for them. Oh, they only gave me this much for my bonus this year. So this is supposed to help. Just having some ice cream every month is supposed to make things different. Still sucks or whatever. So being able to address the mental fitness directly, and more profoundly, being able to show people that it's a performance variable in business that they can look after. One of the things that we're doing is we're shifting people's focus from what's in front of their eyes to what's behind their eyes. So most people approach life by trying to deal with what's in front of them, what's visible. So their situation, their finances, their skills, their behavior is fairly visible. Even some of their thinking's visible. Oh, I think that way and it doesn't help me, I should think that way. And we're saying that everything you can see is a function of what you can't see. And what you can't see is the workings of the mind. And the workings of the mind is the creative potential of the mind to create a perception of reality. And it creates a perception of reality that you have to then deal with. So we're dealing with the potential behind the scenes of the human existence, human experience. That's what we're doing. Now in business, that's relatively new. So traditionally, the ways of helping people are helping them to think differently, helping them to behave differently, helping them to be more effective at what they do through their skills or knowledge. What hasn't been as well addressed is the role of their state of mind or mental resources or mental clarity in the moment. So every single organizational business issue we've come across has a mental clarity, well-being factor to it that wasn't previously being addressed. And at Pransky and Associates, we specialize in addressing that factor alone without having to address anything else. the results of the trainings that we've done in business are always surprising. So because we're not teaching skills, and because we're showing people how to raise their overall level of mental horsepower, clarity, well-being, emotional resilience, when we work in businesses, we see changes across the board. You know, so we work with a company to help them change more effectively or to have a higher return per salesperson. And what you find is employee satisfaction goes up because everybody's happier. Relationships improve because people are less likely to be volatile and reactive to each other, and when they do get upset, they see it as their own problem to get over it. So you see improved relationships, you see improved commitment to the company because people feel better at work than they do anywhere else. so all of a sudden they love their job, and you see generally an improvement in the bottom line because creativity's up, mistakes are down, enthusiasm's up, commitment to the work is up, insecurity and self-seeking tendencies are down, commitment to the real job is up. Like, for example, somebody told me that they were on the production floor and they missed the deadline, and everybody was very disappointed. Half the manufacturing teams carried on working within a half an hour. Half of them stopped work for the rest of the day. They were so distressed, and the line went completely down who had done the training and who hadn't. So ones that hadn't done a training were the victims of their own distress. Their mental fitness wasn't up to it. They had to take the rest of the day to worry about it and feel badly about it. The others felt like, well, there's no point getting down about it. We got to carry on. This is just upset. There's no point getting lost in it, and they carried on. So you see all sorts of surprising outcomes because people's mental well-being is playing out everywhere they go. So I went to a business function, and lots of people came up to me and said, you know, I'm having the happiest marriage I've ever had, and we've just had a kid, and we're so happy, and we thank you because it's the best thing we've ever done in our business. So it's amazing to be able to help the business and also help the people in a way they've never been helped before. So I had lots of people say, this is one of the best things I've ever done in my life, and it's the best thing I've ever done at work. And that increases a commitment to the company and a faith in the culture of the company. One of the other things that you see is, at some companies we've done standing courses for, like a resource that people can go to. And what we've seen is over time, the mental resilience and well-being, the mental fitness of the untrained person is higher 2 years down the road than the trained person was at the outset. Because originally the trained person was coming from a culture where bad mental fitness was a good idea. Get stressed, get tensed, worry, panic, rush. And they came from that culture. Now the people that come into the trainings come from a culture where, even though they don't understand it for themselves, clarity, well-being, enjoyment, engagement without wear and tear is seen to be a good thing, and they are influenced by their leaders, brings out the best in them. So you start to have a culture that automatically brings out the best in people. They go to there's several people that have gone to other companies because they were offered more money. Like, this is a madhouse. How these people expect to get anything done? And they jump back, jump right back to the old company. So we've realized that people's mental clarity and well-being is a key performance variable. And it's always been known in sport. Sport's well known that if you want to succeed, it's the mental game that's the cutting edge. If you want to outperform your skill level, you have to be in the zone. Business has been a lot more forgiving of mental fitness. And as people start to realize that mental fitness is a business discriminator, it's a performance variable, it's going to be less of an option, because the first companies that discover it have a discriminator and they're out competing their rivals.